G'day all, welcome to the last part of my Time Splitters series. If this is your first time to the series, I've left a link to the first part in the description. Alright guys, you know what time it is.
Yeah! Time to split!
I'll get the next one.
Oh baby, let's talk about Time Splitters 3, my all-time favorite out of the series and out of any FPS game I've played to date. The reason why the third installment is my favorite is simply due to its story. It was witty, emotional, and because the game is all about time travel, it introduced plot twists that are incredibly interesting.
Psst. Hey, up here. What? But you're me. I knew you'd say that. Here. A key. But what does it? You'll figure it out. Just make sure to pass it on when you're done. What the hell just happened?
I'm not sure, but
So I'll come back to that statement shortly, but first I just need to say something. Alright, look, while the multiplayer aspect is an integral part to the series, I will only be going over a part of it, as by the third installment, aside from the maps and added characters, nothing much really changed. Free Radical pretty much had multiplayer down packed by Time Splitters 2, and there really wasn't much to improve upon, so why change something that's already perfect?
Really, the only word for it is...
I honestly feel like if I did go into depth about it again, I might as well just copy and paste my last two videos about the multiplayer aspect. And lastly, the video will be split up into two parts. I'll be talking about the plot, characters and level design, and then in my second half I'll be covering the gameplay, sound design, multiplayer and the possibility of Time Splitters 4. Now that that's out the way, let's dive right into story mode. Alright Anya, take it away.
The year is 2401. Humankind finds itself locked in a mortal struggle with the Time Splitters, an evil race of creatures bent on the destruction of the entire human race. Using the power of the time crystals, they travel through our history, pushing humanity to the very brink of extinction. With resistance weakening, our last hope lies with a small ship speeding towards Earth. On board are 9 stolen time crystals, intended to power the time machine constructed by Earth's finest scientists. The plan? To travel back in time, find the source of the time crystals, and destroy them all, ending the war before it ever began.
Time Splitters Future Perfect delivers what is arguably some of the best storytelling for any FPS out there to date. You play as Sergeant Cortez, a Riddick-looking mofo who is actually very likable, which is a good thing because you'll be running into him a lot in different timelines of yourself due to mishaps in time travel. Cortez has just escaped the space station which he destroyed at the end of Time Splitters 2 in the year 2401. After crashing on Earth, he finds himself under fire from Time Splitters' masked men. After meeting up with Anya and the General, he is tasked with traveling back in time to stop the classic Bond-esque villain known as Crow from ever creating the Time Splitters once and for all. He slips through different time periods, meeting different sidekicks along the way. Some beloved ones that have made appearances in previous games, such as Harry Tipper, Captain Ash, and Beth Casey. Now, I'll be coming back to the plot in later points throughout the video, but because I'm talking about characters, I thought it's a good segue into this part of the video.
Time to split! Right on. Get us out of here!
Good job, Cortez. I knew you could do it.
Thanks, General.
And you brought me back a robot.
Free Radical honestly had me impressed with how they could create a personality for each character and get me to care about them in the 20 minutes you'd have to play with them.
Ah, not the robot.
Look!
Each PC was individual and unforgettable. Once crash landing in 1969, you meet Agent Harry Tipper, who is the embodiment of the 60s. He's on a mission to save his girlfriend Kitten Celeste from being run over by a train. Tipper comes to a close second to any of the characters I've met in any video game to date. His goofiness really gelled with my sense of humor. Here's just a clip to show what he was like.
Attention, Harry Dipper has entered the base. He is disguised as a woman. Treat all females with suspicion until their identities can be determined.
Then there's R110, and this is gonna sound a bit harsh, but I'm not gonna lie here, it's true. A robot with more personality than a lot of characters you see in today's video games and movies. You meet him during the Machine Wars in the year 2243, when Crow has built an evil robot army to fight against the rebels. While the robot does start off evil, Cortez messes around with its robotic brain to make it think he's on the rebels' side, later getting a virus which grants him a personality.
Another fight! Excellent! Hiding behind shields, eh? Coward! Eat my laser! Eat it! Tough guy, eh? Sorry, was that your face?
But it wasn't just the sidekicks that were given personality. The evil henchmen also had their own personalities. So while you're crawling through a secret base trying to remain undetected, you'll start listening in on henchmen talking to each other about their lives outside work, such as their relationship problems and banking. With that topic brought up, I want you to think about something. I want you to see if you can raise 5 games that do that. Are there 5 games where disposable NPCs have their own individual personalities? There's also 150 characters you can choose from in multiplayer, but I'll come back to that in the second half of the video. Each level that was designed was executed with a great level of detail and love. The campaign consisted of 13 different maps, with each consisting of its own references and inspirations that you can pick off fairly easily, such as the level Breaking and Entering set in the year 2052. Playing through this, you really get the feeling of Free Radical displaying their affection for the time spent working for Rare on games such as GoldenEye and Perfect Dark in this stage. Or the Russian Connection set in 1969 that takes a note out of the classic Bond evil henchman look, with them all wearing the same uniforms and the general layout of their base. Every time you complete a level, it felt like you were sitting in front of a slot machine pulling a crank. This is due to the fact that you have no idea what level you'll be put into next, which, look, was a good thing. The game starts you off by literally dropping you in the middle of a battle off the coast of Scotland in 1924. You meet your first sidekick, Captain Ash.
I say, what are you doing way out here, old chap?
Brit with a flair for justice and adventure. You fight your way through narrow medieval corridors and open courtyards. You're then quickly thrown into the 60s where you're caught in the middle of a spy mission infiltrating a secret base, which leads you to an epic gunfight on the train. Just as you're done catching your breath, you'll have to put your big boy pants on as you're put into a haunted mansion in 1994 where you meet Beth Casey, a risque looking woman who's in some sort of dare to get a photo of something paranormal. You shoot your way through the countless amounts of zombies, even including an undead moose. As you slowly descend down the decrepit mansion, you find your way into a system of tunnels where one of my all-time favorite scenes occurs.
What? Whoa! What the hell was that?
Ghosts?
Ghosts?
But how did you see them? Ghost goggles. Ghost gun. Does it work on zombies? No.
I'm getting a bit sidetracked, but what I'm trying to get at is that there's a variety of levels. You would play one level where it's filled with closed-in spaces and corridors, and then you find yourself in a new setting where everything is the opposite. That's what kept things interesting. Alright guys, that about wraps up my video. I'm sorry that this couldn't be a longer video, but with just general life and our schedule of 2 videos a week, it's not really possible. Until we're bigger, I'd love to make longer videos, but at the moment, that's as much as we can do. So I've been Lee, thanks for watching.